Hello, I'm Mr. Olivares. This is cycle 4, year 2. This is my reflection. So for this unit of study, my inquiry number 4 was assessing student learning and providing effective feedback for students. More specifically, I actually chose two different CSTPs, 5.5 involving all students in self-assessment, goal setting, and monitoring progress, and 5.6 using available technologies to assist in assessment, analysis, and communication of student learning. Okay, so I have a slightly different chapter opening that I created, in which you can see on the screen right here. Right here, you may see the language objective, the language structure that we'll be using, infinitive that we'll be using, and support vocabulary that students are expected to encounter on these chapters. So I have the language objective plus purpose. Sometimes they're very similar, but it helps students actually understand better what they're supposed to do. So this is the opening of this chapter, okay? And it doesn't necessarily have to be a full chapter, but when we're seeing a specific objective that we want to hit, I'm going to be introducing this. So for this case, I introduced this language objective. Students will be able to say what they're doing and ask a person what they're doing in Spanish. Essentially, we'll be using progressive sentences, and we'll be using this language structure right here. So once I introduced this to the class and I told them this is what you're expected to learn or whatnot, my next step was right here, allow the students to create a goal for themselves for this unit. My goal is, so as you can see right here, the students are starting to create their goals. This is another student, and you can see right here, this is all in the evidence that I provided. So you can see my goal is to be able to learn, or to use the present progression, is actually progressive, to be able to say what people are doing and to be able to ask what they're doing. Great, you can see these people understood their goals. My goal is to learn the present progressive, to say what people are doing and what they're doing. Okay, so that was the first step, set a goal. It's just a little bit of repetitive when I get every day. What is your goal for this chapter? But it helps the student understand what they're doing and why they need to learn this. So what is the purpose? You may communicate with people in Spanish and develop meaningful interactions. All right, so that was the first step, getting the students ready, setting goals for the future, right? For this chapter. On the bottom right here, you can see that I have a reflection. How well do I know this material? This is to get the students to reflect on how much they know before the test. In this time, I actually included this in the initial page. I didn't have the students assess themselves. I guess I should have had the students initially read the statements to themselves and assess themselves prior, the actual time when I did it. That way, most likely, most of them would be at some level where they would be very low. So for example, if I ask a student, I understand what the present progressive is. Before the chapter, if they have no idea of what the present progressive it is, they will be marking themselves, and I show them how to mark with color coding this reflection right here. So I'm demonstrating for you, if the students started, for example, at the beginning of the chapter, not at all, they would go right here, they would mark this with red, right? So essentially what would happen is, based on the colors, what I did was actually the day before the test, I had the students come back over here and do a reflection. How well do I know these materials? I understand what the present progressive is. So these are actual students, what they mark right here. I get it, but I still need more practice. I get it sometimes. I can understand it and apply it very well. Based on these two statements, the students right here, they said to themselves and given me an extra level of observation that they're well prepared. So when this happened, this was taking place, I was walking around the classroom and I could see that students on green were giving me a thumbs up. They were pretty much ready for the test. So I concentrated on students whose colors were closer to the beginning, red, orange. And I started working with those students, going over their activities that we did, making sure that I answered their questions. And I prompted them to do a little bit more practice. And of course, I let the students know, look at your own colors. Don't lie to yourself. If you're in red and orange right now, that means that you haven't learned the material. There could be possible reasons. Maybe he doesn't understand what I'm explaining. Maybe he's not paying attention. He or she was not paying enough attention. There's different reasons. Maybe they just need practice, or maybe they were just absent. But by reading these two statements, and the students, I'm hoping that they can realize, oh, okay, maybe I don't know this material so well. I'm not gonna be ready if I don't study enough, or if I don't ask the questions prior to the test right now. So I think that worked really well. Gave me a chance to actually observe their levels and see the students, just by recognizing, seeing the colors, which students needed the most help before the test. Now, after the test, I had the students, oh, by the way, this is all included, all these activities are in Google Classroom. I share with all the students have access to all of this. So test results. I had the students enter a link. I had to show them how to insert a link, a hyperlink right here, and it takes them back to their score. Once they saw the score, they had access to everything that we cover in regards to present progressive, all the multiple choice questions, and everything that we covered on that test. They have quickly access right here. In fact, these test results are at the end of the activities that we perform for this chapter. So they can always go back right here and review their test scores for a final exam, or in case they wanted to retake the test, they could quickly find a way back to their scores. And if they were confused, the scores were actually, this test results page is actually at the end of their activities. So they can always go back to their activities and review all their activities, review their test scores, and be prepared for study for a final or whatnot. Additional step, there's still room to grow right here. I had the students enter the scores. As you can see, this student right here did really well, got 106 out of 100. If you are able to see the test right here, I gave them opportunities for extra credit, and the student, of course, did excellent on the regular test and gained some points on extra credit as well. I gave him about 10 points extra credit. So you can see that this person only missed one question. That's another additional step on reflecting on their knowledge and how well they know the material. So I could pretty much say if this person was at the green right here, it was a pretty good, expectation that this person was going to do very well on the test. So if it is for the student, it's going to be the same thing for the students who didn't mark themselves very well right here. Most likely for their test, they didn't do so well. But this is a new step. It's new for them. I would still like to do a little bit more with this, going over the results. The students can actually go over the results. They can actually see what's wrong and right. But on top of that, I could probably do a little bit more, have the students go back and check. A lot of students didn't actually check what they missed, and they didn't still understand. But if they wanted to make up some points, if in case they did poorly on the test, I would probably have them complete this part right here, this section, go over their test and provide the correct answers and the explanation of why they got it wrong. So overall, I think I was really happy. I used the resources as my inquiry site question was driving me to. I taught the students to use hyperlinks, to do self-reflection and setting goals. And it actually helped me a lot to see before the test how well prepared some of the students were just by looking at the colors right here. And I think in general, this is something that I'm going to be sticking to from now on. And, it's just a matter of repetition, getting the students to understand the process of self-reflection so they can prepare better for a test. And in general, I think I learned a lot on this cycle. I'm very happy with it. I'm happy that my coach and I, my reflective coach and I, decided to go and explore a little bit more in-depth uh, self-reflection, assessment, and how we can improve student performance by increasing their ability to self-reflect or set goals before the test. All right, thank you.